Once Isaiah came to stay with us and he started going to school from our house with the boys, we just, kept them in school together. And then
Mhm.
even down the line when he didn't live with us full time, he always was 50-50. He would spend a week with us and a week with Ed.
No, James said, "Well, I want him to stay with me," and I was like, "No, we can't have that." And you said, "Well, let's do this. How about you have him a week, he have him a week?" And I was like, "Okay." And the more it happened, like I said, it took my cousin Lisa. She was like, "Girl, look, you got it made."
That's a luxury I ain't never had. I became a mom as a teenager. And
It's a luxury.
I
It's a
always had my
blessing.
right. I ain't had no weeks off. Where
Mhm.
they do that
It's
at?
a blessing. Hello, welcome to the Uncoupled Couple podcast, which is about two baby mamas navigating a unique co-parenting journey.
Closely connected and sharing our experiences. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Elle, and welcome to the Uncoupled Couple. The Uncoupled Couple, yes, you're going to learn more about that eventually.
Hello, and welcome to the Uncoupled Couple, a podcast about two baby mamas navigating a unique co-parenting journey.
Closely connected and sharing our experience. I'm one of your hosts, Elle.
And I'm Nikki. And we're the Uncoupled Couple. Today, we are going to be talking about celebrating family wins. As you all know, we are a podcast about two baby mamas, and we just get together and we are bringing topics to you all that we feel that can be helpful, things that helped us along our journey, and just really what it takes, to co-parent. It's so many blended families out there, and we see so much stuff on social media that's just negative about parents just fighting and trying to block one parent from the other, and it's just a lot of negativity, and the only people that are suffering from all of it are the kids.
Right. And we're here to share that two baby mamas, the stepmom or bonus mom, we should say, and the bio mom can actually get along. Because if you've seen our other episodes, our story starts with people would always say, "You all get along so well. How do you get along so well?" And I'm like, we do. I thought it was unusual for people not to experience that, but it's quite the opposite, that we actually get along. Just like I can call her up, and if I got some issues, I need to throw some hands. Y'all know I'm just talking. She'll be there for me. But just basically saying we grew to be friends. We're actually close, and some people just are amazed at that. But hey,
And
it can
again,
happen.
it definitely can. And again, we're not saying, oh, you have to be as close as we are, because again, we talk about different topics, but we always layer in our personal experience as well. And as you all know, we haven't delved into it deeper, but we will. We'll have kids on. We'll speak more about it. But like, it's not my only baby mama. I have several, and everybody. I'm not as close with everybody, but I'm definitely cordial with everybody. It's no beef. And then again, I mentioned it before, and trust me, it's coming. Y'all might be like, well, y'all get along so good. It's all this, that, and cherries. My situation ain't like that. I got a whole baby mama that we threw them hands. So, and now that's my girl. So, I always like to say where you start is
I've
not where you
had
have
an
to finish.
experience where one of the baby mamas, she just don't like me. I don't know
I don't even
why.
know how that's possible.
I'm like, you got a free babysitter at me. So yeah, for
Elle
some
is one of the most
reason,
likable people you can
she
meet in general.
she does not care for me at all, and I don't know why.
I
But
was gonna,
anyway,
I
oh
was,
well.
I was gonna say something slick, but I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Please, yeah, do that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, but anyway,
The
so
point
it's
is,
not all peaches and cream. So there, yeah,
see
I
how
do
I ain't
have a
say
baby
something.
mama.
See how I ain't say something slick. That's what y'all gotta do. Don't say something slick, even though you want to, and it may be warranted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just because,
Oh, I've said something. I'm not gonna repeat what I've said, but yeah.
Just because you can't say something don't mean you should, right?
Right. They
And we
say if
gotta
you can't
be.
say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. I
Bingo,
guess it
bingo.
just depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, I pretty much say stuff nice
You're a sweetie pie. You are. I don't understand, but
You see, I'm stopping myself because there's sometimes, I will, if I'm saying, I've said it before on the show, if I'm saying something, if I'm cussing you out, you done really took me there because I'm not
yeah,
good. I'm not going to
it
cuss
take
you
it
out.
take Elle a
It take a
long
lot.
time to
But when
get.
you get it, you going to get it.
Yeah, she's a
People
very
like, oh,
very.
well, she's so mean. Why she say that? Because it's unexpected.
You're such a patient person.
That's the word. I'm
Yeah.
not perfect. I cuss. Yeah. I've been told I have road rage. My road rage is just cussing at folks.
But it takes you a long time to get there.
It
You're
takes
very
a
patient.
lot. Yeah.
I'm,
We'll just
me
put
on
it
the other
that way.
hand, I'm like that Drake song. I go 0 to 100 real quick. I gotten better though. I have. I've gotten better. But yeah, don't push it, buddy.
By the way, your hair is really cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, check out her style. It's so cute.
Thank you.
Very cute. You know what? I thought about growing locks. And don't say it. Some people say you can't grow no locks. So I say if
Who
white
said
people,
that?
people used to tell me that because my hair is kind of fine.
Yeah.
So, but I would say if white people, nothing. I'm just if white people can grow locks, I can grow locks.
Definitely
Their
can.
hair is thinner than mine. Most of them, even though I met some that have thick hair, but yeah, I think about it. I go back and forth.
Mm.
Now I have to go through the ugly stage, as TT used to call it.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Ain't no such thing. But
something
anyway.
to think about.
But anyway.
But on top.
Get my little compliment. We got off topic. But back to what we talk about.
Yeah, I know how we get sometimes.
But really, we just really do want to provide you all with whatever tools that we have. Because again, I just feel like it's increasingly more things out there reflecting co-parenting in a negative light, and we wanted to bring a different voice to that and talk about the other side because everybody ain't out here beefing. Everybody
Right.
not out here at each other's necks, and we'll have some other people that are also successfully co-parenting and knocking it out the park, and we're gonna talk about navigating all of that. So
yeah, we discovered that this morning while I was going through YouTube. Anything regarding co-parenting, everything was negative. A lot of negative stuff. Some positive, but a lot of negative. So we want to change that.
Yeah, most of the stuff that we were seeing, like about scenarios, things was all negative. The only positive things were more so like counselors or people trying to
do what we're doing.
Right. Not doing what we're doing. We're just giving our perspective. Those were more people that was like trying to get somebody to come to their webinar and sell a book or so, you know what I'm saying? Like self-help type stuff, not just giving you the perspective and things of that nature.
It can actually work.
Right. Exactly. So and we got enough negativity, right? So we just want to add a positive light. And again, if anything that we say can help somebody, then we make an impact in doing what we set out to do, right? Mm-hmm. So communication. You guys, y'all gonna hear this 150 million
over and
times
over
because
and
you have to communicate. Like just in general, like even if you're in case in point, even if you don't have a bad relationship, if you don't communicate, oh, I'm picking little Timmy up, taking him to practice, and you pick up, y'all both show up. Now where Timmy? So communication is just required, period. But even more so when you're trying to navigate a new territory, because again, we're talking about co-parenting. So this is two people that were originally together and now they're not. So what does that look like? Are you doing Monday, Wednesday, Fridays? Are you doing Tuesday, Thursdays? Or maybe because of work, are you doing mornings and I'm doing afternoon pickups? How do we share the load, right? And go ahead.
And especially with us, it's different. This is we were different. We navigated and still worked together when James was out the picture, meaning when she was no longer with him, I was no longer with him, but we still had the kids together so Isaiah could stay in the same school district. So imagine her and James are not together. I and James have not been together for 20 something years. And we still work together, co parenting, even when dad wasn't with her. So imagine that.
I mean, again, like I said, we said it before. If you don't feel like you can love the other person's child as your own, you don't need to be with that person. Maybe a co-parenting. And I mean, sometimes people get into situations, right? And you in it now, right? But I'm saying if you have a choice and you're looking at somebody and you're dating somebody that has a child, you really need to do a self-assessment and say, hey, can I see myself loving this child as my own? Hey, if for whatever reason the other bio parent, because sometimes people tolerate other people's, other kids and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, good, he only or she only getting them every other weekend. But you have to think about it. What if the other bio parent, something happens to them, and now you're the only mom or dad?
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about that. Can you love and care for this child? Get up when this child is sick, depending on the age. My tummy hurts, this or that. You could be that, that child's only mom or dad. Is that something that you're willing to take
It's something
on?
to think about.
So,
Yeah,
because a lot of times, my son has dated young ladies, and I'm, again, nothing against it. I was a young single mother, and I'm not, against. So please don't take it in a negative way. But I encourage my son not to date young ladies that have kids because he doesn't have any. That was something that I also felt for me made the most sense. Like I'm not looking for a dad for my kids because they got a dad, but I need somebody that knows how to be a dad. Because at the end of the day, whoever I connect with they're going to be in my child's life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a bonus
It's
parent.
a good role model, a male role model.
Yes.
And so good that if you all were to break up, that child would still have a good relationship with them, or even just remember them being, even though he goes on his way, they'll have good positive things to say. My mama was dating this guy, and I remember he taught me this, it taught me that. So even if it's just for a season, let it be a positive season.
We have to always think of whatever we're doing in our kids' lives, because parents, we're not perfect, right? It's trial and error. We always try to be in the mindset of we're trying to do something that's going to add or deposit or uplift or build, right? So you always want to try to set up positive interactions for your kids. Again, so it's pouring into them and not depleting them, right? So again, we don't have a magic ball. This relationship is going to work or not, but it should be a positive person that you have around your child. And again, if I don't feel like this person is even equipped to be a good dad, like it's just not going to work. I'm a mom. Anybody linked with me has to be a dad. And again, there's people that don't. I know people that are married to people that don't have any biological children, and that person is an amazing bonus parent. But I'm just saying, if you're in the position, you have to take an assessment because some people want kids but can't have them for their self, and they literally adore and just admonish and treasure that child that was brought into their life. So don't misunderstand me and say, oh, you shouldn't be with anybody that doesn't have kids. I say you just need to assess that situation very fully. And again, when it comes to someone's kids, for me, I don't want somebody in my life that I feel like would not love my child. My child is their
I
own.
remember I was dating, if that's what you want to call it. Much didn't go of that on any level. And the guy was like, yeah, when I meet your son, I was like, meet my son. It's like, you're not going to meet my son. You and I both know this really isn't going anywhere. So no, you will not be meeting my son. We weren't even, we were just strictly dating. That's it. No, I don't even know if that man kissed me. For real. I just,
but again,
but at that point I was like, no, this isn't going, and this is no, you're not meeting him for what?
Right. Boy, you're not going to be in his life. Right. Exactly. So yeah, we have to be selective, when we can, and just try to keep the best interest of the child. Because again, so James and I were together for 10 years, and the boys, when I got with James, Jay and Isaiah were like 5, going on 6, something like that. Elijah was like 2, 3. So yeah, in that range, they were very young. And then we talked about it was when Isaiah was 8. Um, Elle was going through a transition in her life, and we wanted to make sure that he had the stability that he needed, and we were in a position to provide it at that time. And that's what you do as family. You help each other. If I ain't got it, you got it. If you ain't got it, I got it. However, we gotta pull up the slack for each other. So Isaiah came to stay with James and I, and then Jay, Elijah, and Isaiah was just three peas in a pod, literally. So, and again, we've talked about that once. Elle did get her place and stuff. She didn't have to, but she was just like, y'all been holding it down. Y'all young married couple. Hey, I'm gonna have Isaiah anyway. I'm gonna just take all three of the boys. So like my boys, like they call her Mama Yanni, like that's their other mom too. Um, so she would get all of them. It's like, hey, y'all have a date night or something. And like, I mean, she actually poured into our marriage. And some people might be like, that's kind of odd. It's absolutely not, because making sure those things, giving me and James those breaks, help to keep us sane, which in turn help us to be better parents for the kids.
They're boys. You know, boys.
They was busy by. They were sweet. They was
They were
jumping off stuff.
Yeah, sit down, stop. Just being
finding
what
bunny
boys
rabbits
doing
in the
what boys
backyard,
do.
and
just like girls, as my grandma would say, stop all that sniggling. I don't know what sniggling is. Take Lisa to talk about her talking about a sniggling, and boys doing what boys doing. But what I was smiling about, because you were saying how I was important to your marriage. I'm thinking at one time, remember I stayed in Old Fallon Place, and the guy that was a manager. I was like, I want you to hook up with this guy, yada yada. End up talking to him anyway. But
I had met him in a different set.
Yeah.
Small.
Anyway, it's so small. But she was trying to hook me up with this with this one guy, and just thinking about that again. That's how we get along. If she trying to hook me up with
right, because I want somebody.
brother.
I wanted you to have somebody for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was laughing about. Before you even mentioned, I started thinking about that. I was like, I remember when she tried to hook me up with yada yada yada.
Yeah, but he was cute. He was a playboy. We had
girl, look, you see, I'm.
I wonder what he's doing with his life today. Anyway, what I was saying was, so we were together 10 years. And
Negroes.
About 7 of that was 10 years. So, man.
We off topic. Come back.
Right. So, once Isaiah came to stay with us and he started going to school from our house with the boys, we just, kept them in school together. And then even down the line when he didn't live with us full time, he always was 50-50. He would spend a week with us and a week with Ed. So, like she told you,
Nikki, because I was like, I'm not gonna see my son. Because no, James said, "Well, I want him to stay with me," and I was like, "No, we can't have that." And you said, "Well, let's do this. How about you have him a week? He have him a week?" And I was like, "Okay." And the more it happened, like I said, it took my cousin Lisa. She was like, "Girl, look, you got it made." Mm-hmm. You got it made. Now I looked at it like I was like,
and that's the same setup my sister had. And they'll talk. My niece is 16, and they've always split everything 50-50. That's a luxury I ain't never had. I became a mom as a teenager, and
it's a luxury. It's a blessing.
I ain't had no weeks off. Where they do that?
It's a blessing.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So like I say, once after Elle got situated, settled, and she was doing week on, week off, and everything like that. But it was still. So when he moved in, he never moved out. Even though we just kind of changed around, like I said, when we started doing the 50-50.
He had 2 homes.
There you go. That's what I said. He always had his own room in our house. Clothes, like he didn't have to bring a bag. He had clothes, toiletry. He had 2 whole separate homes. So after 7 years, and they're going now into their junior year of high school, like what are we talking about? Elle was like, well, I'm about to figure this. Ain't nothing to figure out. Like these boys
Yeah,
been together since.
when Sheila and James were getting a divorce, I was like, Lord, what am I gonna do? You know, because I gotta move to Kirkwood or what I say, Kirkwood or Webster Grove, because I wanted him in a better school district. She was like, Nah, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing.
Right,
We don't want to
O'Fallon
uproot
school
him.
district, and he
And
got
I
his
was like,
friends.
okay,
and
yeah.
I'm like, it's already gonna be enough to be going through a divorce. But I'm like, we're not gonna just uproot his life. And then, I mean, Jay, they've been the Three Musketeers. Like Isaiah, like their dad's moving out. Like Isaiah leaving too. Like what is happening to our family? Like it was enough as is. We needed to try to keep as much stability and normalcy as possible. And we did that. And they both graduated.
No, when they graduated.
And walked across that stage. Yes. Yes.
I was like, thank you.
So that was, again, very non-traditional. Most people are like, dang, y'all divorced. Like, and again, that's what you have to paint that picture. You have to communicate. You have to figure out what works best for you, but always with the child in mind. Because sometimes what works best for you, don't misconstrue that. Because some people, that's all they're thinking about is what's best for them.
You're gonna hear this over and over. This is what you're gonna hear over and over: communication, 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 and it's all about the kids.
Yep.
You're gonna hear that over and over, and that's where we're gonna keep pushing.
And that's what being a parent is. And I go back to my earlier statement about people that are dating people with kids. If you don't have any, being a parent is a selfless thing. It's you have to literally die to yourself. If you are I'm this, I'm that type person, you don't have no kid, like you don't really need to date somebody with kids. And that's kind of like my son. Like I said, I think he one day eventually will be a great dad. Like, you know, he's 24, don't have a kid. Like he's not.
They're gonna be great dads,
right? He's not in a position that he's like, oh, I'm trying to make this sacrifice for this child. Especially it's not a child. It's not. He's like, don't even cheat that young lady. Don't deal with her. Let her find somebody that's a little more
mature. Now, and I can see if you're 30 and 40 and then men and women, you're in a different mindset. You're more mature. At 24, I had my own child, so I didn't dare. I don't even know if I dated. I guess I dated guys with kids, but
you could come.
It didn't even cross my mind that you could be a mom if you with this man. Now that I'm thinking about it, it never crossed my mind.
And most young people don't, and that's why
I didn't think about that.
I'm trying to, and I didn't think about stuff like that. But I was already a mom. But that's why I'm trying to kind of just say those things, because these young folk they're not thinking like that. They just thinking, oh, he cute or this or that, and they like, well, yeah, he got a baby, but he got a baby mama.
So you ready to be a mama?
That's her, right? You have to really think about that, because you don't know what terms life may happen. But you thinking, oh, he got a baby mama, they over there, whatever.
Yeah, but what if, God forbid, something happens to that baby mom and daddy like, I'm taking my son, I'm a dad now. Then, and he's still in love with you and want to build a life.
A full-time dad now. He always
a full-time dad. Thanks for correcting me. Mm-hmm. And are you ready to like kind of step in? Because if you're in that person's life, you're a mother there, and say if and they may need that feminine energy, are you the one that want to give that feminine energy that they may need?
But I mean, they do. Or dad may be like, every child needs too. They do.
Or dad may be like, okay, you're not the one. I'm a rock and roll by myself. I was at work talking to a dad. He said, I'm a single dad. I got 2 kids. He said things just changed like that. He said, I'm suddenly doing it everything. And he was saying how more focused he is. He's like, I didn't have a choice but to get focused and get my stuff together. Mm-hmm. And the brother, he doing his thing. So yeah, there's something to think about. Yeah. Even at our age, if I'm dating someone and say, if I didn't have any kids, and the man when I'm talking about married, he has grandkids, and his grandkids are with him a lot. Women, if you 50, no kids, you ready to be a granny? If this man has kids and he's a grandparent, because some grandparents, some granddads, they have their kids with them, their grandkids with them.
Facts.
Even though you may be 50 with no kids, and you marry this man, you're a granny now.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, a few episodes back, we had Reba on, and she's a full-time mom all over again, a full-time single mom at that.
And she and I talk about if when she start dating, if she's to date, her concern is, how is this man gonna treat my grandson?
Also, he, her being, 50 plus years old, you meeting a gentleman, he's your age is 3, but she's going to want a man that's probably, her age. I don't see her dating like young. This 60, you talking to a 60-year-old man, and he like, oh, this, that. Yeah, but I got a 12. How old is Jackson?
Jackson will be 10.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, hitting
60-year-olds don't expect to listen. I be still kind of like when I'm 43, and when I run into people with a 10-year-old, I was like, oh girl, everybody ain't start early like you. So I mean, it's a thought. Like my husband, I just got married. We're going. Me and my husband just been married a little over 2 years, and he has a 7-year-old, and that was something that I really had to sit with and determine if this is something that I could possibly, if I could do this all over again. Because again, my our youngest is 19, so I'm not in that space or in that zone. I wasn't anymore. She's 19 now, so we talk some things, and my two bio kids are 21 and 25. Like
now you have a
I'm not
6-year-old.
7. He's
7. Sorry,
I'm not nice. So, but when Jared and I got together, he was just was he 2 going on 3? Yeah, he wasn't. I helped potty train him, so I really had to take a sit. And a lot of these things I'm saying to you, I had to say to me because again, yes, I'm already a mom, but I was at a different place in my life. So that's a great point. Like you said, even with grandparents, like people really have to take a look at this because I had to sit down and Jared, he was very intentional. Like, hey, I got this toddler, right? I'm like, yeah, you do. He's like, I need to know, like, you gonna be solid. And I was like, and even coming from us speaking, I had to think about it because again, Elle has told you, I've been her rock and she been mine. But again, I've been a mama since I was 18, and I was on my flying high, and I had to sit back and be like, okay,
can I do this again?
Can I do this again? Right? Doing the whole baby mama, dealing, blah blah blah. The whole shebang.
That's a book in itself.
Girl, look.
Just your story alone.
Listen, my story got so many
dips and turns.
Dips and turns. I was looking for. It was another word I was looking for. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but yeah, I'm definitely. It is a lot of peaks and valleys and twists and turns. It's
or even say if I'm 58 and I fall in love with a man and he happens to have a 5-year-old. If he started late, or if I give me a 30-year-old man, now I'm just playing. But if I ended up with a gentleman and he has a young child, it's like, what if he's a single dad and he has a young child?
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I would.
So look, she be having her great niece and nephew. Elle always got these little kids. I
haven't had them in a while.
Look at her face. See what I'm saying?
And that's because of my car down. I miss my baby.
So, case in point, if she met a man with a 5 or 6-year-old, she'd be fine. Be loving on them little babies.
Yeah.
You
got grandbabies too. I'd be okay.
But I had to think about it because again, Elle, she didn't have. You had when you were 33.
33.
And then you originally.
I didn't have those 6.
And I was just finna say, you originally 6 kids. I originally wanted no kids.
Yeah, I wanted 6. And if I was married and younger, I'd have 2 more. I said, well, okay, I'll take it down to 3. So if I was married and younger, I would have 2 more. I'd have at least 3. But God didn't want me to have 3. 6.
Everything worked out how it's supposed to. Because like I say, let me clarify, because I didn't want any children. Don't think I don't love my kids.
I know some sisters like, I ain't want no kids. And then when they get them, they just.
But yeah, they're my babies. I love them. They know they're my. But yeah, that wasn't my plan. So yeah, sometimes you make your own plan.
I was the crazy one. I'm gonna have 6 kids.
No, I know there's a lot of people that won't 10 kids for, hey, to each his own, right? But you have your plan and then God has his plan, right?
God laugh at your plans like, you think that's what you think? All right.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So
that's what I thought.
Either which way, you just have to make sure that you are doing your due diligence to make sure that you prepare for what you're signing up for. And nobody's perfect. You may think, oh, I got this, and it end up not. Don't go that way. But don't if you know at the gate it ain't gonna work, don't waste it. Don't do that to that. Don't come into that child's life. Children get attached to people. It just if you like I said, if you already know you ain't up for it, just you need to have those hard conversations and be like, hey, Miss Lady, Mr. Man, I really dig you, but like this how you moving.
Yeah,
and
it's just like
this
if
ain't gonna work for me.
If you're going into a marriage and you know that man, he's like, I don't want any kids. Ooh. Period. And you want kids and think, okay, we get married, I'll change his mind. Oh, and I know we're getting off course. But yeah, like, no, we're not compatible because I want kids and he does not. So you just have to keep it moving.
It happen. I'm seeing it happen.
Oh man.
We had some people that used to go to church with us, and she had 3 kids and he had none. And she told him, I do not want any more kids. And he was like, okay, this and that. They got married, all the things. A few years into the marriage, he was like, no, I really think we should have a baby. And she like, wait.
He wants to continue his bloodline.
I told you, I have 3 kids. I don't want no more kids. And they ended up getting divorced. But, and she felt so betrayed because she was like, we had those conversations and you said you were good with it. And then we got married. My kids love you. We a family. And now you coming trying to change the game, trying to flip the script. That's not okay.
And we had the conversation.
So, and again, yes, people have the right to change their mind. Yes, people can, but something that's serious, like you need to be resolved on it, because that's a big thing. And then, hey, maybe you all both have kids. Maybe you all both want kids. You need to talk about parenting styles. How do we plan to raise our kids? Are we going to spank? Are we not going to spank? Like even those things. Sometimes people, don't have those conversations, and that can cause rifts as well. So yeah, you all have to talk about all the things. What is your role as the bonus parent going to look like? That segues into our next point: graduations and birthdays. Fortunately for us, our relationship was great, right? And we planned most things together and so on and so forth. But sometimes it's not quite that smooth. It's still disjointed. What does that look like if baby? Well, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna speak from my perspective. If baby daddy having something, you know what I'm saying, and bio mom don't want me to come. How does that play out?
And especially if it's something that's for their child.
Right.
So if it's the child's birthday, and this is my take on it, bio moms and bonus mom, y'all need to get it together because I think it's very helpful for the child to see everyone together. That's just my take.
Right. And I mean, that's, yeah. And I mean, hopefully you can get there. So case in point, it's been people, I've known so many girlfriends, dating guys, and the bio mom was like, and she not welcome to the party, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And me and my husband, we even had this conversation. Like our relationship is much better now, but when we first got together, his ex and I, that was rough because she was still hurting and going through what she needs to go through. So, she wasn't feeling me and everything like that. We're in a good place now.
How did you navigate that?
Oh, please. Let me finish this point. Okay. And we had that conversation. I was like, hey, if, she having something and she don't want me there, what is your thoughts? How would you handle that? He was like, if you can't go, I'm not going. And I think a lot of men more times than not, that's the stance I hear most men take. Is that like if my woman not welcome, I'm not going. But me, and I appreciate that. But I'm from the mindset of so we'll figure that out. But you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Your child needs to see his. Your child does not understand the back workings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your kid doesn't understand. Oh, my mom is in her feelings about XYZ and don't want this extra lady around. And none of them got nothing to do with nothing. All the child sees is my dad ain't there.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what I mean about being selfless and doing stuff that may not necessarily, it can hurt your feelings. Mm-hmm. It's not the preferred situation, but it's what's best for that child. Because yes, I would feel away, if I couldn't go or whatever. Fortunately, we didn't never have to deal with the situation, but if it had come about, I would have sent my husband home because his son is not going to ever have to think back to a birthday that his dad wasn't there.
So, and as bonus moms, there are times that we have to step away or step back for a second, and let things play out and say, okay, well, we'll deal with that. But sometimes you may have, like I said, let things play out. And as you say, you kept her feelings in consideration, understanding. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that too. That's why it was so much smoother for me, because at that point, I didn't have any romantic feelings for James. So it was so much easier. And James and I, we got along and still get along so well for years. My family, friends, everybody thought we were either still talking or going to get back together because we got along so well. Even my family were, they was like, yeah, y'all know y'all together. Y'all know y'all getting back together. And I was like, no, we're not. So now 25 years later, people realize, okay, I guess she's not getting back with him, because but we and it's amazing. Like I said, one of my managers when I was in Child Corps, she recognized, how well we got along. So that makes it so much smoother, when the romantic feelings aren't there. I still love James. And I say like a brother. I was like, this is my boy, but the feelings are not there. And we are a family. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
and like I said, I've had an ex or two that just didn't get it because, like with Thanksgiving, him and my daughters, he had two daughters, I believe, and a son. They had 3 kids together. They didn't get along too well. So I was like, well, I can understand why you wouldn't be able to understand that. He's trying to hit it. I'm like, no, So no, not at all.
Mm-mm.
But
so going back to your question, how did I navigate that? I mean, I just navigate like I always do. I'm gonna just be me, and I'm gonna just keep, not pressing anything, not trying to force anything, just being there and allowing her to just see and figure out what she need to figure out and be comfortable with. Because of course it was like, I need to, know who this person is and all that. Been through this, been there, done. They got the bumper sticker, right? So of course, anybody that didn't, that wouldn't want to meet me, that would be a red flag. Right? What kind of mama is you? You don't want to meet the woman that's gonna be in your child's life. So she wants to meet me and Elijah, because Elijah lives at home. So she's like, when he's coming over, I want to know who these people are that he's gonna be, around and essentially part of his life living with, right?
Absolutely.
So she met us and talked to Elijah and he was talking about college and stuff like that. She's like, okay, so just regular
How
stuff.
does him and Elijah get along?
Elijah be like this little brat. I mean, and I said 7. He's getting ready to be 7 actually. I'm already jumping ahead. His birthday is coming up, but he's
7-year-olds do,
right,
or 6-year-old.
So case in point, a few months ago, Elijah was like, "Where's my remote to my TV?" So Elijah's looking. He was like, "Okay, I might have misplaced." So he's looking around. He was like, "Both my remotes are missing." So he was like, "Now I may have misplaced one, but I can't find," because he had the TV remote and then the Fire Stick remote. So he was like, "What's the odds of me misplacing both of them?" So he was like, "Let me go look in Vaughn's room." Vaughn then took Elijah's remote controls and hid them under his bed. So Elijah's like, grr. So he do stuff like that. So he just like annoying. Like they are 15 years apart. So Elijah's a grown man. He's
right,
21.
Yeah.
And Vaughn hiding his remotes under the bed. So he doing stuff like that. So you like, he loves Vaughn, but he definitely be like, where's the little rat at? I'll be like, don't call him a
This
rat.
What happens when you have little brothers, little sisters. They do things.
I mean, Elijah never had a little brother. He only had little sisters. But his little sisters was much closer in age than him. So when they were, as they old folks say, Joshin and Jeffin, Elijah was on the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vaughn has, yes, he has siblings, but they're all adults. So it's so, you know what I mean? It's a big difference. So, and you know how Elijah is. He just be laid back and stuff, and Vaughn just be doing stuff.
Elijah will have a logical conversation with
that point.
Scientific. So, he'd break down why he shouldn't do what he did. And
so Vaughn is very smart like Elijah too. That's what I really like. He has an extensive vocabulary.
And I can imagine some of those conversations.
So yeah, he is he's an awesome kid. So navigating that, circling back, want to wrap that up before we move on to the
graduation
point.
And we were talking about, were we talking about graduations, birthdays,
celebrations? Yeah. That's what we said.
I'm thinking about like when they graduated, everybody couldn't show up, so we had the second ceremony that you had, and then also
because they gave it. Their high school was ticketed, which I hate when they do that, and you can only have so many people. So we did have a graduation ceremony,
which was really nice.
But I wanted to finish my point before we move on. I forget, but no, what I was going to say was just navigating that space, just giving her the space that she needed to heal, to feel comfortable, to process, and things of that nature, and just see how her son responded to me and Elijah in the whole, new normal, right? And so that progressed, and that has really come full circle because Vaughn is turning 7 in a couple of weeks, and we're taking a family vacation to Disney World. I have a travel agency, Victory Travel 2, shameless plug, yep. And so I planned the trip and everything. So I am super excited. So we all going together to Florida. We have the same flights and everything. We got our little birthday cruise shirts that we're gonna wear. So like, what kid? Like first of all, he finna go to the happiest place on earth, right? And you get to have your mom, your dad, your bonus mom, your grandpa.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, his grandpa. She has one brother. His brother. Her brother. Like he's gonna have a whole bunch of family and stuff, and we all going to Disney World. So he just have his family there, and he going to Disney World. I mean, what more? And
that's something he's going to remember. Oh, he's thinking my whole family was there.
For me, in Disney World at 7, which I was thinking was a good age because I took the boys to Disney when they were younger, and they was acting like creeps and crying and falling out and pushing strollers. So I was like, this is a really good age to take him. He's well older. He's going to remember this. And, we ain't got to worry about no strollers and diapers, anything like this. So I think it's going to be awesome.
You know what? I don't think I wouldn't take a child that young. Not that young, but like 2 or 3. That's just me.
Girl, I ain't know that. My whole family was going. So the first time we went to Disney, Jay was 3 and I was pregnant with Elijah.
Oh.
Wow. And Jay was being a brat. And stuff like that. Then we went again.
He was tired.
Because my family was going every year. So the next year when we went back, either I went the next year or I skipped a year. I must have went the next year because Elijah was a hand baby. And so Jay was like 4.5. Girl, still being a brat. I'm like, this is too young.
Does he remember when he went when he was 4?
He does, yes. Okay. But he remember little pieces of it. And then when they got older, we took them back to Florida. But when we went to Universal Studios, and Isaiah went, Kendall went, and that was enjoyable because everybody was bigger kids. We get on roller coasters and all the things. So Just sidebar. If you think about taking your kids to Disney, I wouldn't do it no younger than 7, 8. Everything's expensive. It's a waste of your money. You're gonna be mad that you spent all that money for your kid to be out there throwing fits. I'm like, the parks are big. It's big. I'm tired. Pick me up. Pick you up. Listen, all the things. So I think.
Oh man, you got me messed up.
7, 8, like, bro.
Oh no.
7, 8 is the youngest I would take a kid to Disney if you really want them to
7,
enjoy
Isaiah was probably right here on me now.
He can ride up, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, they have the stamina to walk through the parks. You ain't got to feed.
And at
nobody.
that age, they had energy.
They got energy. They'll remember the experience. You would not have spent $1 billion for your kid to be like, we went to Disney. What was that? So all the things. So that's that. So again, as you see, we're taking a family vacation. So things are really good now. And that actually segues us into our last point. Is we really want to point out to biological parents to embrace the idea of a bonus parent for your child. You know, Elle, even her being as perfect as she is,
no, I'm not.
She would tell you, you know, back then she even struggled with like, what am I needed for? Am I getting replaced? Like, I'm gonna just wash his clothes. Like, when you have that's a teammate. You know, think about like sports.
Look at it like that.
Like, it's a teammate. Like, the quarterback ain't trying to play all the positions. You know, like, everybody got a place. So even though it's, you know, it's a mom role or a dad role, you know, just like you got more than one quarterback, you got the second and third. Like, these are all people that just help you. And what happened if the quarterback get hit and he tired, he need to take a break? They put the other one in, right? The backup.
If you're a single mom, and I've had lots of support from my family and friends, lots of support. So, but what if it's just me and I don't have family, but all I have is Nikki, and if I get sick, she's got me. So again, you know, think about the pros of having a bonus mom as opposed to, you know, this, who is she coming in? You know, think about, well, and the pros outweigh the cons way more, especially if you got a good, I got a good baby mama. I don't know about y'all. I probably should give me a shirt say I got a good baby mama.
That's
a good like, what is that?
Look, right. I was gonna say that's a good, and put our QR code on it.
Like I got
like
a good,
and that can be a segue. They'd be like, oh, yeah, good baby mama. Yeah, I want you to listen to our podcast.
You know what?
Couple that's talking about.
Okay, we gotta work on that.
There it is.
We're gonna have some new shirts, y'all. So, but yeah, just when I say I am so blessed. And she started the baby mama stuff. She said, yeah, this is my baby mama. And so we say it all the time. Yeah, even on Facebook, hey, baby mama.
We took it around with
it. What? Yeah, this is my baby mama. I'm just so blessed. I haven't cried in a while, have I, on this podcast? Because when I get to thinking about Nikki being such a blessing, I get teary-eyed. But I'm not crying. But yeah, I mean, y'all talking about a sister that's blessed. Yes. So get y'all a baby, get y'all a Nikki.
Same. Because again, kind of like I said, I didn't have the week off, but I appreciated you and your support. I needed some time from them dudes, like, for real. They were some busybodies.
I know.
So I could, you know, and even when it wasn't that time, I could hit Elle up like, hey, you know, Fantasia coming to town. You know, that's my girl. I want to go to this concert. You think you can get the boys? Elle like, yeah, you know. Let me be clear. Thank God, Elle is a homebody. She ain't a street runner like me. I be outside. So 9 out of 10 times,
I need to get outside.
Look, now I'll be taking her to the streets. I'll be like, hey. And when I say the streets, like, case in point, we got married, and she went with us to our destination wedding. Like,
she said, no, you going.
Elle probably hadn't been on a vacation in like 2 years.
Oh, I haven't had.
And our wedding is probably your last vacation.
Because I went, yep. And I had went by myself when I went to my me time when I went to Myrtle Beach.
Gotcha.
I went. That was it.
Elle's an amazing person, y'all.
Yeah,
everybody listen. She don't do enough self-care. She does not, and
That's
she needs
true.
to. And
That's
she
true.
needs to get away, and you need some sunshine. I love to travel. And Elle she loved the water too. So
I love the water.
I think like almost every morning she would get up and go out and read.
I'd be on the beach meditating and reading.
It was that water's so beautiful. So that's what I'm saying. She needed that. She deserved that. Like I said, she's been a blessing to me and our family. And I was just like, no, you need to do
She
something for
said,
your
"No,
L. You
you are
don't know.
going."
So I
She
was like,
made it happen.
right. I was like, we're
I was
going to
like, she
figure it
made it
out.
happen.
And
Yeah.
because one thing I'm gonna do, and she'll tell you when they was coming up, I'd be quick to find a program, some resources, an application, a scholarship. We're going like
She finds the money in the savings, should I say?
yes,
She the
so,
discount queen.
yes. You ain't gonna know because I'm gonna be right there with the people that pay full price. That's a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because I like nice stuff, but we ain't gotta pay full price for it. So yeah, so I was like, let's figure this out.
Get you and Nikki.
Hey.
Hey.
So I was like, yeah, you need to do something for you and come on and let's go. So yeah, you have to take care of yourself to take care of these little people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's something that parents, especially good parents, struggle with a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because we always trying to make sure our kids are taken care of and covered. But again, Elle giving us that time, like I said, pouring into our marriage and just giving us that free time and lots of different times throughout James's career. He traveled a lot. So, it would just be me with the boys, and stuff like that. So, sometimes, we would alternate it up. She wasn't ever like, oh, this ain't my week. Oh, well, next week James out of town. Cause we had 3 people to do the pickups and the coordination and moving and grooving. So sometimes when he's out of town, we have to switch it a little bit so that we can make sure all our bases was covered because whatever our kids, no, we were not rich, but us communicating and working together, like I say, figuring out programs and resources, our kids was blessed to be able to do whatever they wanted to do. When they wanted to play football or be in the band or, like they wanted to be on football and it was like $250 a piece. We sold TJ's Pizza.
I know Isaiah was in the band. What, he had a saxophone or something?
Yep, and Jay played the drums.
Okay.
And then they both quit.
Yeah.
No. Isaiah played the tenor sax. That wasn't even funny, bro. What?
No, I'm just laughing back with him playing and the notes just being like, like.
The boy definitely sounded like a goose.
Yeah, I was trying.
Sound like a goose for real, but hey,
he's a better singer than a saxophone.
Jamie played the flute, so they all played different instruments, and they all quit.
Did Elijah have violin?
No, Elijah played the alto sax. He still has a saxophone, and he plays the bass guitar.
Now the bass, he
you be seeing his videos?
Yes.
Yeah, so he been working on his bass.
My brother plays the bass.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So yes, so they were older, so they got to do band earlier, and then Elijah did his thing.
So Elijah stuck with it really. No.
Yeah,
but Elijah's dad's a musician.
There you go. Yeah, so that was already.
And Isaiah actually
comes from a
is a
musical
good
family.
singer, though. Yeah, believe it or not.
Because your dad, don't you?
Yeah, my dad plays keyboard and guitar. Right. My brother plays bass guitar.
I thought Isaiah was gonna stick with it because he comes from a musical family.
He could
and you sing and everything.
And I sing, and my dad was teaching me guitar. I told you he was teaching me guitar, and I said I want to learn how to play piano. When I went to piano, didn't stick with it. But yeah. Either
way, the point was anything they wanted to try, we supported them. We let them try, see if they like it. If they don't, yeah. Isaiah wrestled. He was really good at that.
Still good.
Everybody was like, "Why you don't play basketball?"
You know what I'm laughing at, right?
Yeah. I do.
I just say, yeah, I didn't know the boy got hands. I'm just leaving it at that. I was shocked, like, whoa. Yeah.
So yeah, they still wrestle. We were able to let them try new things. They went on a college tour. Like anybody got kids know this stuff ain't free or cheap. You gotta feed them, clothe them, extracurricular activities. But again, we save up, we get whatever we need to do to make it happen because we wanted to make sure they had a full life.
Isaiah has a traveling bug. He keeps saying he wants to go to Thailand, I think. He keeps talking about that.
I want to go everywhere. I'll plan it out.
You don't have any kids, do it. I just want him to be safe with all this mess going on. Right. I don't want him to get stuck up. Stop being negative, Yanni. Right. But yeah, I did. Yeah.
When they graduated, remember we was like, what y'all want to do? They wanted to go to the Bahamas. And they went to the Bahamas, went on a cruise. They almost was kidnapped, but we made it back. That's another story for another. They had a great time, but they was trying to be adventurous. They was 18, and I was like, yeah, y'all can go off. I almost was kidnapped in the Bahamas, but everything was well. But yeah,
They got so many stories. They have stories. He's just telling me a few little things. He was like, James was like, you couldn't handle it as a mom. He said, nah, you don't. And that's another thing about having men in your young men's life. There's things that they will share with the man that they're not going to tell mama.
True. And they have to have some type of man that they trust. Mm-hmm. And again, kind of like what we were saying, we're building those relationships. Maybe dad isn't in the picture. And we're not going to say he's deadbeat. He could be passed away. Yeah. You know, they need to have a man.
Uncle or a cousin or a mama's best friend. That's a guy or something. Right.
Something. They need that.
Need a balance.
Yeah, kids need both parents, both man and a woman. And again, when we say it take a village, that's not just a saying, because sometimes as mom or as dad, they feel like, oh, I'm gonna disappoint them or upset, or me just again, as I've gotten older and I've become more patient. But when I was younger, 27-year-old, I was a hothead. So there was things that sometimes Jade and Elijah would go talk to Elle about because she's patient and she'll listen. And then they would ask her to come talk to me about it because not only is she more patient, she can take the information and kind of decipher it and digest it and then come to me and really convey what they're trying to say. Because, sometimes kids be talking slow, and that's another thing. I used to be like, hey, come on, spit it out. Because when a kid, when somebody nervous, and not just kids, when somebody nervous and they're trying to tell you something, sometimes they stuttering or beating around the bush. And that's one of the things, especially when the kid comes. Be like, can I talk to you? Yeah, come on. What's up? But come on with it. Come on. That's how I'll be like, come on, get to it. Mm-hmm. So Elle is much more patient. So sometimes they would go to Elle to talk to her about something and be like, can you talk to my mom about it? And she could ask the questions, get understand, well, Jay, or think about this,
start
that.
Digging.
Yeah. Okay, you just gonna go to your mama talking about Johnny. Okay, who gonna be at Johnny's house? Let's say, for example, he's trying to go to a party. Elle gonna be like, okay, who gonna be at this party? Is Johnny's parents gonna be there? What time?
Has anybody met Johnny's parents?
Right. All the things. Yeah. So she's gonna get all of that, and then she could bring it to me and frame it way better than the kid would have. But
or if I said, nah, we ain't going for that.
Right. And sometimes Elle would just shut stuff down, but they would be sometimes more comfortable talking to Elle because of her patience. And again, Elle's like 15 years older than me. She's more mature than me. Like she's like my big sister. So yeah, I was, young, so she had more, she had been helping raise her nieces and nephews. So no, she hadn't been, me and her became parents exactly literally at the same time, but she was more mature than me and she had more life experience than me. And I didn't feel that took away from me in any kind of way. And
we learned from each other.
Absolutely.
Because I joke, I say, you could be my daughter if I had you young and my little sister.
Well, I think it was a car backfire. Don't worry about that, y'all. Right. But so like I said, our last point, we're gonna get ready to wrap it on up, was basically just embrace that bonus parent.
Take the perks of having a bonus mama bonus parent / baby mom.
Or baby daddy.
Or baby daddy, right. For that point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe and share it. Follow us on all of our social media. We are The Real Uncoupled Couple on TikTok. Everything else, we are The Uncoupled Couple. And I think that's it until next time.
Like you say, like, subscribe, and share. And we out.
We out.
We out. Peace.